has been paid for by Behind the Turnbuckle Plus, the new pod order. BTT Plus. Yeah, it's a tough job, but somebody's got to do it. Plus. Oh, it's extra content right here, chicos. Think about it. BTT Plus, taking over the pod game. Live Q&As, watch-alongs, new shows. BT. Is that okay, Plus. Big Tommy? Enter the war room, turnbuckle style. Plus, it's the new way. We call it BTT Plus. The genesis has begun. The beginning of the new pod or BTT. Everybody wants to know what to do next. Well, just scan the code. The pod revolution Plus starts now. The preceding announcement has been paid for by Behind the Turnbuckle Plus, new pod order.
So much content here Behind the Turnbuckle. Welcome in to The Last Word, our Monday Night Live show right here on our incredibly popular YouTube page. Keep it growing. Welcome, everybody. What a night it was on Monday Night Raw. We haven't seen a lot of great shows lately, but tonight, so much to talk about. I see the live chat is already popping. Hit the like button on your way in. Any questions, we'll try to get to as many as we possibly can. Uno says, what a show. Uno, I agree. We're going to talk about it all, but I can't do it without my partner, my man, not only from BTT, but also part of Driving the Line. And Tommy, I hate to bring it up from last night, but you do owe a membership, by the way, on Wednesday.
Yes.
Good evening,
yes.
sir. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
I knew you wouldn't forget about that, Coach. Man.
That's all right. We'll talk about that Wednesday.
I know, but we got a lot to unravel here tonight, so let's get going, brother.
You're damn right. Let's get it going. How about the way the show just ended? We'll start with that main event. But, Tommy, the storytelling tonight, for the most part, for 2 hours was awesome. And I had forgotten about Drew McIntyre, and that's what I love about when they let stars take some time off. Because all of a sudden, who beats up Jey Uso? They have the match, then here comes Drew McIntyre. Did you even expect him tonight?
No, I was suspecting Seth Rollins, the one that nailed Jey Uso back there. I was talking to producer man before we got on, and I'm saying I think that was Seth. And out of nowhere, Drew comes back, and I love stuff like that. It's great.
I love when somebody gets attacked backstage. You don't know who it is, and there's actually a really good payoff. And I was thinking, was it CM Punk? Was it whoever? But I was not thinking Drew McIntyre. So now, Tommy, with Saturday night's main event coming up, and then that's the 14th, and then you got January 6th, Drew McIntyre is now back in the fold. And he gets involved in that match involving Sami Zayn and Seth Rollins. And who was Seth Rollins brawling with at the top of the show?
CM Punk.
That's right. It's all starting to come together. And right now, if I'm AEW and everybody's criticizing you for lack of storytelling, you watch that tonight and you go, that's how you get it done. But then you also have to have the talent to pull it off. I don't know. That I just did not expect it to end that way. And that's how I want every single Raw and or SmackDown to end, with me wondering why. So now I got to tune in next week.
That's right. And that's what storytelling's all about. And that's what this show was all about. We'll hit all those points, but storytelling in this show tonight was great with Finn and the New Day and everything else that's going on. And I know we're going to hit it all, and it is really good how they're gathering their information out and putting it out there. It was a really interesting show tonight.
User 279 says definitely wasn't expecting Drew McIntyre. No Reed tonight. Maybe he stays on the blue brand. There were some injuries coming out of Survivor Series that they did not really address tonight, but there were some injuries. So I think a couple of the guys in that main event we won't see for a little while. All right, let's move to my favorite part of the night. And Tommy, I got to be a little selfish here, because 5 or 6 years ago when I was still at ESPN, I got a call and I got to dance with the New Day at Madison Square Garden, and I could not believe how over they were, and that was only halfway through their 10 years. But to have the creativity to write that promo, real life promo, to have Big E agree to do that promo, I got emotional. I was into it. It was everything that I wanted to be and I didn't expect. And I thought all three guys were fantastic during that promo segment.
It was unbelievable, coach. And I'm talking to everybody out there. If you're a young tag team or young guys trying to get in this business and you want to know how to cut a promo, watch that New Day promo with Big E about 10 times over. And then you'll learn about emotion and passion. Watching Big E tear up as they're nailing him one, two after another after 10 years of being together. That's, folks, how you cut a promo. Tony Khan, take a look at that talent right there. And you have talent there, but it's all about telling the story, not week to week. This has been going on for weeks, and everybody thought Big E was coming in, the big savior, and the big turn happened. Where were you? And I'm like, mic drop, and I'm like sitting there. Oh my God, I'm emotionally involved with this storyline big time right now, coach.
You're listening and watching The Last Word. You saw the promo code come or QR code come up. If you're looking for a Christmas present, get some Coach and Carlucci merchandise. Also, we are presented as always by mybookie.ag. Tons of great deals over there. Tommy, so much to break down. They've done a good job of making us believe that they were going to break up tonight. And I think that's where they were going, or at least that's what they wanted us to believe. And I believed it. I was like, this is it. They're going to break up. And then I texted you and I said, where's Big E? And then out comes Big E. And I thought one of two things. Either it was going to be his big goodbye, or he was going to say, I'm coming back. And I got that. So I was super into it. I was like, all right, Big E's going to be back. He's going to be managing these two guys. And then they shocked me by saying, "You walked out on us." He literally broke his neck. I think what Xavier said is true. I don't think, and I said this on the show, and I got railed nationally for it, that I don't think Big E will ever be medically cleared, and it hurt my heart to say that because he's one of the greatest dudes of all time. But when
Yeah.
you break your neck the way that he did, it just wouldn't be smart or safe for him to go back into the ring and take bumps. But if he can be in segments like that, Tommy, that is valuable to me, isn't it to you?
Oh, it's incredible. And when I heard him say that, I'm saying, "Oh, they're setting this up, man. They got the big Netflix Raw coming. Now we're going to have Big E on every week with New Day. This is a star power thing. It's a star power show. They're bringing him back. Maybe he could put these guys together, and that could be a story in itself, whether he keeps them together or not. And then you give the big kaboom. You weren't there. You broke your neck. Well, Steve Austin was there. I mean, they gave examples,
They
coach.
did.
How great was that
Oh,
in writing this promo that they gave you true examples of guys who broke their necks, excuse me, and continued to wrestle while Big E was gone. And they threw that right up to his face. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I was stunned, dude. I was really stunned.
anytime, and this is something that fans who are watching right now need to understand. Anytime you can bring real life into a segment or real life into a promo, you heard the crowd there in Seattle. They were gasping. They could not believe that Xavier and Kofi would say those things to Big E. And then when he gave him the hand, when he's like, hey, let's hug it out. Oh, no. Oh, that's not going to happen. Now, user says, I know Big E can't be physical, but a low blow could have been mega heat. Here's why that can't happen.
Mm-mm.
Because if you do that, then he has to be able to get his ass whooped somewhere down the line. That's part of the reason I had to start training Tommy. Was I remember Vince told me, if you're going to do this character thing, you got to be willing to have matches and get
Mm.
your ass kicked. So that's why I had to train. And if Big E would have done that, he can't be physical. So they can't come back to him. So it wouldn't have meant anything. Not a bad thought. What else was in there?
You know
The
what else? You know what else was great, coach?
Yeah, go ahead.
The off mic stuff. When their mic's not up, oh, this is how it's gonna be. This is how it's when he's getting ready. That I can't tell you how much money that is. That when the off mic stuff is going on and they're talking back and forth, it's friggin' real, folks. It's real. Unbelievably real. And the way Big E sold it, having a tear coming out of his eye, welling up, was just phenomenal. Unbelievable storytelling, Dusty
Tommy,
Rhodes
I think it was
style, big
real.
time.
I think it was real. Like, I think that tier was real because understand, Tommy, we've heard stories and we've seen interviews of how much it's crushed Big E
Mhm.
not to be able to wrestle. And I was there in '08 when Kofi was trying to find a gimmick. He walked into my room and he was trying a Jamaican gimmick and nothing was working. So for these three, when he said, guys, 10 years ago, we were that close to getting fired, that's true. They were. They had nothing for them. So I think that emotion tonight, Tommy, is it went all the way back through his head, and he was like, "Wait a second, is this really over?" And I think for Big E, that was an emotional moment because Tommy, I think for him, it really is over.
Mhm.
Don't you?
Yeah.
I don't think he's coming
It
back.
No, I don't think he's coming back. He's gonna still do the pre-PLE shows and stuff like that, non-violent stuff, nothing in-ring stuff. But you know what? It continues to be a storyline, right, coach? Like he's on a PLE, New Day's on there, or maybe they changed their name now. Who knows what's gonna happen? And just his reaction alone to seeing these guys, the next time he sees these guys, I can't wait. There's gonna be somewhere down the line where they're going to run into each other backstage or something like that. And folks, the thing is, what is the reaction going to be? And that's storytelling, and it makes you say, "Frig, what's going to happen next?" And that's what you want when you write stuff.
Marcus says truly upsetting. But the overall thing, Tommy, that we haven't even touched on is the WWE used tonight to turn them heel. So now moving forward, Kofi and Xavier will be heels together. And then down the line, will they turn on each other? I don't know. But to get baby faces to turn heel, you've got to have another gigantic baby face. And there's no bigger baby face than having a guy with a broken neck. That's the ultimate baby face. So that was brilliant because I was like, how are they truly going to get this crowd? Because I think it would have been indifferent if they would have just been kind of going along. The crowd have been like, okay, because they were super. Now that they were mean to Big E, now they're heels. Now they're heels just like that. It's hard to
Boom.
do.
Yeah,
It's hard to do.
very hard.
Jordan says, I got so excited when Big E returned just for it to turn to heartbreak. Jordan, that's great wrestling. Like Tommy and I have talked about, that's great wrestling 101. Uh, Third biggest thing, Tommy, Finn. Never been a fan as far as a main event talent. He's a good house show guy, he's a good mid card guy. He just signed a 5-year deal. But tonight, they are focusing on this dude. They are trying to make him a main event guy. And we found out after attacking Gunther that he's going to have a match for the World Heavyweight Championship at Saturday night's main event. Did that surprise you?
That surprised me a little bit there, coach. But we talked about this months ago. Remember when Damian left the Judgment Day and we said Finn is the next guy that needs to pick it up and be the big time heel on Raw. And what are they doing? This guy was out throughout the whole show. The backstage pre-tape with Liv, looking at Liv. You want to win? You got to be with Finn. Oh my God. Nailing Dom a couple of times there. Well, if you weren't there and you watched Damian, we wouldn't have this issue. So he was in the show all night. Then coming in the ring after Dom gets beat and hammering Gunther, now he gets a title match at Saturday night's main event. Good stuff there, and I like where they're going with Finn.
Entertain me with little details in the promo with Finn and Gunther. He's in the back doing the two, 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 two. And I'm
Yeah.
just laughing at Dom as Finn is just serious as a freaking heart attack. It's funny, Tommy, because sometimes certain things bother me about characters. And I know over the years there were people that were bothered by my character. But the way Finn talks irritates the hell out of me. It really does. I just like get rid of the accent. Just
Yeah.
get rid of and maybe that's what makes him a good heel. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, he's carrying it out now, and now he's got a match at Saturday night's main event. And you wonder, you think he'll win the title there at Saturday night's main event? It's a
No.
big question. I don't think he will. You know what I think might happen?
What?
Dirty Dom's gonna get involved in that match right there, and then you're gonna have a little angle between Dom and Finn, and we called this months ago, coach. We called this months ago how it's gonna break up Judgment Day. Liv wants to run it. Finn needs to be a big time heel, and guess what's happening, coach? It's
What's that?
happening. It's happening.
By the way, Tommy, because we joke a lot about people watching our show and the Coach and Bro show. And by the way, if you're watching the Coach and Bro show now on our channel here, so you can watch both brands. But we talked about on the Coach and Bro show. Do you know how many times since June that Finn and JD have defended their World Tag Team titles?
No.
Twice.
Come on.
Twice. So did you notice tonight during that last segment, what did Adam Pearce do? How about we also talk about the ones that you got to have a force of nature in order for you to defend the titles you already have?
Yep.
You don't think he was watching our show and watching us talk about it? Of course they were. Of course they are. I'm giving ourselves all kinds of credit because when you're
Twice?
a tag team 2 times in almost 6 months,
Wow.
it's as good as they were tonight, they overlook a lot. They
Mhm.
overlook a lot because there's no time to, and I don't know if anybody keeps records of, hey guys, we did A last week, we need to do B this week. But kind of slipped through the cracks a little bit. 2 times. Does that
That
shock you?
that's incredible. I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
I didn't 2 times. I thought there was more than that. God, but you know what? You think about it, they never put the titles up. You're
Ever.
absolutely
Ever.
correct.
Ever. It's backstage. It is one-on-ones with one of the Judgment Day. It is Dirty Dom with Liv, and that's kind of their game plan. And it's worked because they've been some of the hottest on Monday Night Raw. The chat is saying, what about a 3-way dance? If Damian Priest interrupts the match at main event, then you would have Finn, Priest, Gunther, perhaps on January 6th on the opening night of Raw on Netflix. What would you think about that?
It could happen, but I think they're pushing Damian away from that title for some reason. That's what I think. I think he had his time, and I know what happened in the match and everything, but I think they're going to move on from Damian and chasing after that title for a while. That's my own thought. I could be wrong, but it's not a bad idea at all. Have a triple threat on the inauguration of Netflix Raw on Netflix. That's friggin' huge, man.
Could be. 12 days from tonight, December 14th, Saturday night's main event. Jordan says at least Cody is defending his championship at main event. Tommy, we didn't see him. We didn't see Randy. We didn't see KO. None of them at Survivor Series. I'm still shocked that Cody didn't even make an appearance at one
Yep.
of the 4 biggest shows of the entire year.
Yep.
Was that a miss?
That was a miss, and we talked about this too. You could have put him in a contract signing. We gave him the suggestion. How about a contract signing in the middle of the ring? Right? Am I right or wrong though?
He
KO
could
and
have
you
done
keep
something.
going.
Could have done something. Yeah.
He's the champ, and that's one of the original 4 pay-per-views. And I saw on social media, how can Cody not be in one of the original 4 pay-per-view Survivor Series? Contract signing, 10 minutes, they go face to face. Now you still create some heat there, but nothing? Really?
Tommy, I need to stop you right there because we got over an hour of those women in that War Games match. So I didn't need 30 minutes of good wrestling. I had that, which we'll get to the women here in a second. User says Gunther again needs to add more to his game. I'm sorry, he's boring. User, that's the that's the ledge we stand on here at BTT. We hate Gunther, not as a person, but as a
No.
talent. Tommy, now he does have. I mean, I felt like the kidneys of Dirty Dom came up through his throat tonight on that last power slam. Holy criminy. That was
Mm,
stiff. That was
yes.
stiff.
Yes, it was.
But the rest of it, it's just, Marcus says, I wish they wouldn't move away from Damian, but how long do you keep the belt on Gunther? That's the big question, Tommy. How long do they? Because if we get to January, Tommy, and I'm going to have to – Triple H has always said since WrestleMania 18, what's the most important title on the show?
Yep. The championship title is the most important title.
World Heavyweight Championship.
Yep.
We can bring it up a million times that at WrestleMania 18, Triple H, who now runs Raw and SmackDown, put himself and Chris Jericho after The Rock and Hogan. And it was the biggest
Yes.
exit. People were walking out. I was there.
I was there
in
too.
it with The Rock. I mean, it was such a mistake.
Yeah.
And now, is it that important anymore? I don't know. Nate says, I like Ludwig more than Gunther. He's starting to grow on me, Tommy. What about you? Nice little backstage with Braun Breaker?
I said this, I'm a big fan of Kaiser. I like him building him up. I like that little back and forth with him and Braun. And how about Braun saying, you better get out from underneath him because Gunther's stock is dropping. And I'm like, boy, talk about a mic drop. That's a big time mic drop. And you see Kaiser thinking, he could be right. I think Kaiser is a good heel and he needs to get elevated a little more. But I like where they're going with Kaiser right now. There's a lot of good stuff going on at Raw right now.
It's pretty obvious that that the story with Gunther is that his confidence is shot. He even said it in his promo tonight with Finn. He's like, I needed to get this done for me without you interfering. And I like when they start to play with emotions. I like when they try to give characters depth. And having a world heavyweight champion be vulnerable, I think, is a really good move because most of the time you want them to be a badass and
Mhm.
only be a badass. But to know that his confidence is waning just a little, maybe that'll give Gunther a little bit of depth, which I think he needs desperately.
Yes, he
Desperately.
does. And you notice at the end of the match, and we know Dom is one of the hottest heels in the business, and Gunther's a heel. Gunther got a pop when he won. The fans were he got a nice pop at the end when he won the match against Dom tonight. Little interesting stuff
I know.
that you're seeing
I
with
know.
Gunther right now.
I know. If the storyline is good, I can be swayed, Tommy. I can be swayed. It's about 22 after the hour, 10 o'clock, 10:22 in the East. It is 7:22 out here in the West. This is the last word, part of the BTT universe. Also, we have the Coach and Bro Show. New episode dropped tonight with me and Vince Russo. You've seen it a few times on the screen. If you want to get a stocking stuffer or something for your family at home, we got plenty of merchandise. All you got to do is hit that QR code as well. And as always, all of our shows are presented by our partners over at mybookie.ag. Use that promo code BTT and you can have a sign up bonus. New customers up to $1,000, 100%. And just for today, Tommy, a 10% reload up to $1,000 for Cyber Monday. I called him up. I said, we got to do something.
That's right.
So we got to do something. We got to do
Got
something.
to do something.
All right, so Tommy, it's completely out of character for us to be positive for this long. So we gotta have a little bit of negative. Gotta have a little bit of negative. And tonight it was glaring to me once again. Excuse me, that the women have an issue, and you pointed it out, and I agreed with you that for whatever reason, and thank you to the live audience, big live audience tonight. Thank you. That the powers that be have decided we're going to have a women's intercontinental championship. We're going to have a women's, is it U.S. title? Is that what it
Yes.
is?
Mhm.
And we're going to have a tournament for both of them. When, Tommy, we don't even have enough females to get in a War Games match. And we're going to have two more titles, individual titles on top of the tag team titles, on top of the women's world heavyweight, on top of whatever Nia Jax has on SmackDown. So that makes 5 women's titles we're going to
Yep.
have in the next couple of months. Yet we only
You
have
know what
8 girls.
you know what the confusing part of this whole thing is, Coach? The confusing part is that the US tournament is not even done. We have no idea who's gonna be the US champ. I know it's down to, like, the final 4 or 5. I couldn't even name them right now. And then tonight, you start with the Intercontinental Championship tournament with the big bracket. I mean, I don't know who's friggin' who's who. Here's how you do it. You end the US one, right? And then you go into January with the Intercontinental, and maybe you end it at Royal Rumble or something. But to have two going at the same time, it's bananas to me. I can't figure it out. Why would they do it? I know we always need content, but you're going to start one tournament and not finish another. Finish one, then start another.
Robbie Hockey says it's like the Oprah meme. You get a belt, and you get a belt, and you get a belt. Oh my gosh. By the way, go to behindtheturnbuckle.net. Everything is there. You can watch all the shows behindtheturnbuckle.net. Producer man just made that for us on the fly. Tommy, Dakota, Kalani, Chance, and Shayna Baszler. If that doesn't scream turn the channel, I don't know what does. And every time I see Kalana or Kalani, all I think of is American Ninja Warrior. She was a star on that show about
Mhm.
6 or 7 years ago, but she was a star. And now, it's Tommy, it's just a bunch of women wrestlers. There's no stars there. It's Liv has benefited from the fact that Rhea was hurt, Becky's out, Charlotte's out, and who else is there? Because Bianca's a star, but they're not pushing her like they should. And tonight, every time the women come out right now, especially the what's it called, the PF. What's Shayna Baszler a part of?
PFC,
PFC.
PFC,
What's that stand for again?
Pure Fusion Collective. Collective. I can't
Pure
even fuck.
Fusion Collective.
I
Oh
can't. I
my
can't. I
god.
can't remember it.
It's kind of like when you go to Home Depot and you realize there's 8,000 brands, and at some point all of them had to start in a boardroom. That had to start in a boardroom somewhere. Somebody said, "You know what? I've got a name for these three. Pure Fusion Collective." Yep, that's it. That's a winner. Let's go with that. Oh my goodness.
So bad.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So
And,
it's
and that tournament looks like it's just thrown together. I saw Natalia's in there. I know she's a senior member of the women's superstar, but they, like you said, it's just women thrown in there for like no reason. Like we have no idea what's going on between that and the U.S. tournament. It's all bananas, Coach.
But Tommy, that's what happened at War Games. Is everything
Yep.
got thrown together.
Yep.
And when you have the big storyline, the bloodline, the 2.0, and then tonight with those guys, the B and C storylines historically have always suffered, Tommy. And that's where talent has to take it upon themselves and go to the writers and say, "Hey, I came up with this idea," or "I came up with that idea." Because if you wait for the writers to write something for you, you're going to end up doing one of those WWE shop.com things all day.
Mhm.
You're not going to have a match that matters.
No, not at all. And everybody watched the War Games match. The beginning was terrible, slow, sluggish, barely talking through. If it wasn't for Io Sky and Tiffany, they saved that match. Definitely.
I thought that was your line of the day. I really did. I saw some people said that they made the match. You said they saved the match. They
Yes.
did. And I know I got quoted everywhere for my criticism of Nia Jax. I'm all over the dirt sheets, and
Yep.
that's okay. Marcus says more creativity coming out of the locker room. You can't just add these titles like this. How about okay? I like this. How about you make some more women stars and then do this, Tommy? That's exactly what we're talking about. How about we try to make stars and then we make champions? But are you going to put the Intercontinental title on Dakota Kai, Kalani Chance? Are they going to be your champions? Are they going to be the ones that I put on the marquee? That when I go to a live event, I'm going to see Shayna Baszler go one-on-one and put the women's Intercontinental. No,
Mm-mm.
we're not going to do that. We're
You
not going to
have
do
to
that.
invest in the women's superstar to make you feel invested in why you want to see them. That's where it all starts, right? Basic
Exactly right.
101. Are we right or wrong, Coach?
100% right.
Yeah.
100% right. And as much momentum as they have after tonight, it's kind of like putting lipstick on a pig. It's still going to be a pig at the end of the day. And they've got to figure out these storylines on the women's side. Or maybe, Tommy, because Vince used to do this. He used to allow stuff to be so bad. So then when he had some big idea, it was like, okay, now we're back. Maybe the Charlotte thing, maybe the Becky thing. I don't care what anybody says. Becky sitting out has made her money. Has made her money. Because they're going to have to overpay to get her back now.
Yeah.
How can they
Nobody
make
else.
stars when it seems like the focus is on Rhea and Liv all the time? Question from Jordan, Tommy.
What was that? I didn't hear the rest of that. I'm
How
sorry.
can they make stars when it seems like the focus is on Rhea and Liv all the time?
Well, that's part of the women who are the superstars there to create their own stardom or come up with some ideas. That's how you create stars. It's somebody like Chelsea Green, who I think, you know what? I think Chelsea Green should win the US women's because she can elevate it. She's entertaining, she can cut a promo, and she has personality. So truly it looks like she's working on her craft. But if you're not working on your own craft, you expect somebody to hand it to you. Doesn't happen like that in this business at all.
Ryan agrees with you. He says, haven't seen the brackets, but hopefully they go to Natalia and Chelsea Green. Only ones deserving, entertaining of the current women, in my opinion. So they agree with you, Tommy. And Natalia wasn't even in War Games.
No.
Nowhere to be found in War Games. Natalia, Chelsea Green. We had Dakota. We had Nia Jax. Oh my god.
Oh, more heat.
That's fine. I mean, give me all the heat.
Right,
I just
right.
I'm tired of bad wrestling. I'm tired of people using their longevity to mask not working hard and not going to the gym and not working on your craft just because you're part of a big family. And I've always said this, that when you're a part of the Rock and all of that family, you get extra advantages. But once you get in, Tommy, now you've got to earn your spot. And if I'm watching Nia Jax, who, by the way, not that they're going to ask me, you can't have a match. I don't care if it's War Games or not, that there is no consequences for 45 minutes.
Mm,
Can't have it.
nope.
I got to have something happen in those 45 minutes. And I'm not starting Nia Jax in there because now you're asking her to go for over an hour. Did they do that for Roman Reigns? Of course not.
No.
They saved him till the end
Right.
because he was the big boss.
Yep.
He was the guy.
Eh,
Why wasn't Nia Jax given that treatment? Liv Morgan
You
waited till the end.
Yep. Usually, when you kick off the PLE and you're the first match and it's War Games, those first two superstars in that ring are kicking ass. And that didn't happen in that match. And it brought it all the way down. Whoever thought of the idea of Nia Jax starting that match with Bailey, that was a bad idea. I'd rather have seen Tiffany and Io Sky go at it because they would have been going all through this match big time. And then keeps you interested in watching this match. When you start out like that, there's nowhere to go. There's nowhere to go. You have to go up. If you don't go up, it's a bomb, and that's what it was.
Why in
Sorry,
the
I hate
world?
to.
Why in the world would you start with her, have her come out at the end and clear house? User, you almost said my words on the live show Saturday verbatim. Verbatim. But Tommy, sometimes they have these blinders on, and for months it's been Bailey and Nia Jax. So I'm certain when they were sitting around the agents meeting, they said, well, we got to start with these two because they have the most history. Not thinking about how long the match was actually going to go. And who
Yeah.
came up with the rules for War Games anyway?
Oh,
Why would you have just one submission or one pinfall, but nothing can happen until all 10 are in? Why don't you just call it an ass kicking contest or something?
yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it makes no sense. That's why the guys were so good because you had stuff happening. You had big spots. You had guys breaking bones in that
Mhm.
match. Not the women. I mean, it was like, can we please get all 10 in so we can move on to LA Knight getting squashed?
Yeah.
By the way, what do you think he's going to look like on Friday night after Survivor Series? I've never seen somebody of that caliber be squashed worse than that on Saturday. Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong, and, he was showing his attitude coming in that ring. He knew the finish of that match. He just didn't look like he was the same old LA Knight, and even Corey brought it up in his commentary. He goes, "He looks a little off tonight." So, he wore his, conscience on his sleeve, knowing I mean, he knew in the back he wasn't going over, man, but he showed it. And as a superstar and you've worked in the ring, you can't show any part of that stuff like that. It gets picked up by the guy sitting in the gorilla position saying, "Man, what the hell was that?"
You
It was
have to
Cody.
remember it's a work.
Yep.
It's a work. Now, should he have been pissed off based off what we saw, Tommy? 100%. It's okay to lose your title, but you can't lose it like that.
Yeah.
Shinsuke,
Yeah.
to me, has always been, a 205-pound weird dude. And for him to come back, what, 3 matches?
Yeah.
And then he wins that title
Yep.
from a guy they're supposed to be pushing the hell out of, a guy that sells
Yep.
merchandise, a guy
Yep.
that can cut a promo, a guy that can go in the ring with anybody, and you're going to squash him? I
Yep.
guarantee he was so pissed when he got backstage that night and probably got yelled at too.
Yep. Now, unless they're gonna elevate him, I don't have a problem with that. Unless they think they're gonna and I don't think this, and I know you don't think this, that they put him in Rumble and he wins the Rumble to get a title shot at Mania. That's not happening. Unless they were telling him that, then I can see him dropping the title to Shinsuke to move up to get better in the company. But personally, and you know this, coach, I don't think that's gonna happen. What do you
If
think?
LA Knight wins the Royal Rumble, I I don't want I don't want to say something I'd actually have to do because I'm thinking about The Rock. I'm thinking
Yeah.
about John Cena. I'm
Yes.
thinking about a lot of dudes that will be in what they're probably going to tag as the biggest Royal Rumble of all time, with Cena being the last one. And if they let LA Knight get one of those main event spots at Mania over those guys, oh, Tommy. Oh, Tommy.
Mm.
Oh, Tommy. I don't even want to think about it. I don't even want to think about it. I'd like to talk about it, but I don't
Yeah.
want to think about it. LA Knight versus Gunther may be good, but not from winning the Rumble. Thank you, Ryan. Can you imagine, Tommy? No John Cena, no Rock. Let's go LA Knight and Gunther, night one main event. Wah, wah, wah. But at least it's $15,000 for a front row seat.
Oh my God.
$15,000. Yep. $400, $500 for the last row at Allegiant Stadium. It's a two-night event. A two-night event. And the tickets are still that expensive. Marcus says LA's in a tough spot, it seems. It really is, Tommy. He is to me, he has A-list talent, but with the way everything's falling out right now, he's almost being treated like a C or D player.
Mm. Yeah,
You
I
know?
agree. Yeah.
You know?
They say, "I'll give you the title for a while, and then you're gonna lose to Shinsuke of all people." The guy's been gone a year, has 3 matches, does a couple of run-ins, and then you lose on one of the biggest PLEs that WWE's ever had, one of the original 4. Not good, dude. Not good at all.
Not good. By the way, did you happen to see Cody on the Tonight Show? So on the Tonight Show, if anybody out there saw him, let me know in the chat. He said something very interesting, Tommy. He was asked about how good the company's doing, and he says, they call me the quarterback because Triple H and The Rock, they call the plays. And I go out and I run the plays and I execute. Tommy, why would he say Triple H and The Rock are calling the plays in WWE right now when The Rock's been off promoting the Red One, Moana 2, which made a ton of money, so good for him. But I found it very interesting that he would include The Rock in the executive creative part of the company. Does that shock you to hear that?
Not one bit. We know the
Really?
final. Oh, that doesn't shock me at all. Not at all. I think when he comes back, and I saw a thing he put up on Instagram today, he's chilling now. He's finished Moana 2. He thanked everybody for the numbers. You're going to put out another video saying what the numbers were. And he goes, now it's time for me to put my feet up. I don't do this a lot. So now he's sitting back. Guess what? It's WWE time for the final boss.
So he'll take a month off and then 1,000%. I don't know what the odds will be, but he will be in LA, which he loves anyway, on January 6th. If he is not, I would be shocked. Shocked. Every star will be there. Every star will be there. User says, you best believe Rocky will be in New York. Well, it's actually in LA, but
Yeah.
point is well taken. Is there a big event in New York?
No.
I don't think so.
Not that I know of.
But I'm cautiously optimistic, Tommy, that January 6th, and there's got to be something we didn't get from Survivor Series. And I mentioned it today with Vince. I said part of the mistake they made at the end of Survivor Series was it went so long. It went like another 4 or 6 minutes and you felt like somebody was coming out. I said, if they weren't going to do that, give me the acknowledge me and then get off the air. But I felt like Rock was coming out or somebody was coming out and then it went off the air and you and I were watching it live.
Yeah.
Did you feel like that? Maybe it should have gone off the air a little bit sooner.
Should have went off sooner. I think they did that on purpose, Coach. I think we knew it happened with Punk last year, and everybody's waiting, and we all thought it was the final boss coming out and just saying whether he liked it or not, or just giving a hand signal. And they let that drag on and he was on social media too. They let it drag on so much you thought something was going to happen, and nothing happened. So part of that, me saying, is Triple H is like messing with you, saying it doesn't always happen when you want it to happen, and it could happen another time or another place. So.
By the way, User was talking about the main event, Saturday night's main event. He said Rocky would be there. That's interesting. Is the main event at Madison Square Garden? I can't remember.
No, it's in Long Island.
Long
It's in
Island.
Long Island. Yeah, Veterans College. The old it's not at UBS, it's at the old Islanders,
the Nassau Coliseum.
arena. Yes.
That was always a bittersweet Raw or SmackDown for us. We didn't stay in a hotel. We could go drive back and forth in one day, but driving to Long Island sucks. It
Oh,
just sucks. All the bridges you go over and
good.
all the. I don't know how people live in Long Island. I don't know why
Oh,
the Hamptons is so popular. I hated going to Long Island. Hated it.
when I when I gotta work Islander games and I gotta do those in January, I hate driving to UBS Arena. It's horrible. And I remember Veterans, that backstage area. Do you remember it was crappy. It was
Oh,
dark,
trash. It's
dingy. Am I
old,
right or wrong, right? It
hard
was terrible.
concrete. Yeah,
Small
having a fight
concrete,
backstage, nobody wanted to do that. What?
concrete.
All of it's
That's
concrete
yeah.
backstage there. Anytime
Yep,
they would write a fight for the Nassau Coliseum, the boys would hate it.
yep.
Oh, they would absolutely hate it.
Mm.
Do not forget, go to behind. Make sure I get this right. Producer man's done an incredible job. Go to I said the wrong thing. Go to behind the turnbuckle. I can't even hit the right one, Tommy. Behindtheturnbuckle.net. Everything is there. All of our merchandise, all of our shows. We have a playlist up on our YouTube page. We're growing in leaps and bounds. There it is in the chat right there. You can get everything you could possibly want. Tommy, 8 months ago, could you have ever imagined you'd have your own T-shirt?
8 months ago, I'd be sleeping right now. No,
uh,
I can
fi-
never imagine that,
It's been awesome.
ever.
Coach and Carlucci, we're rocking it, kid.
Yep.
If
Seeing
you're
to
not a
you.
premium member, we encourage you. How about you gift somebody a membership? We've got a new member from Australia, Tommy, a new
Uh,
member from Australia. Right after we get done with this show, we will tape The War Room. The War Room is a crew exclusive. It's a whole nother show, 15 to 20 minutes that you can be a part of if you so choose. Last question, Coachman. How was the Alamo Dome in San Antonio? What was that building like for y'all? Um, it's a good building. It's a
yeah,
good building right there on the Riverwalk.
huge,
Yeah,
huge.
it was big. I never
Yeah.
understood why the Spurs played basketball there. You
Oh,
60,000 seats and they'd only hold like 20.
yeah.
But the other arena, remember that one, Tommy, in San Antonio on the 4-H grounds? All you smelled was cow crap all
Yes.
day long.
Yeah.
All these farm animals because there was the
Yep.
4-H building and then the new arena. Oh gosh. What about your favorite Seattle story? I did tease that the other day, Tommy. I did tease that the other day. I've got 2 Seattle stories.
Well, you got more than that, but
I will say this. I will use no names. I will use no names. But one time we were what we like to call a double shot. And a double shot is when we would tape Raw and SmackDown in the same building Monday and Tuesday nights. And it just happened to be my birthday. And so we kind of rented out a upscale billiard hall. And the show was over at 8:00. So everybody got to go. The crew, the camera guys, everything. And I look over at the door and all of a sudden I see a guy with The Rock on the back of his shirt. I was like, turn around. Sure enough, there was The Rock. And The Rock never went out. Never, ever, ever. So we're having a great time. I'm drunk, Tommy, by 8:45 probably, and all of a sudden I get cracked from behind. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm getting ready to fight on my birthday in this bar. Turn around and it's Johnny Damon, the great Yankee, the great Red Sox, the great Kansas City Royal. I met him early in my career. I called him, Tommy, in Double-A baseball in Wichita, Kansas, for God's sake, when I was
oh,
21 years old. True story.
wow.
So he hits me. My beer goes flying. I turn around. We're hugging it out. The Red Sox had just landed in Seattle. The whole baseball team. There was 12 of them showed up at the bar. So now we got the Red Sox. We got WWE superstars. We got the crew. We're rocking. We're having a great time. By 9:30, 9:45, I am lit up like a Christmas tree. So let's just say that it was a long night. Okay? Let's just say it was a long night. And for people who don't know, Tommy, back then and even now, teams would, how do I say this? Charter planes from companies like Delta. And so there were other people that were around and, hung out, had a great time, flew back home, but promised one of them, hey, I'll call you. I'll call you, Tommy. You know what I'm talking about? We did that a lot because I was single back in that day. So, Tommy, fast forward 6 days later, we're in Norfolk, Virginia. And I am going early, Tommy, to try and reconcile with a former girlfriend who I had dated for well over a year in Norfolk, Virginia. So Seattle, Norfolk. So flying early, little precarious, a little scared. And I walk into the hotel as the ex is on her way to pick me up to go to dinner. Who is standing in the lobby of the hotel in Virginia who I just hung out with in Seattle 6 days earlier? May have been a flight attendant from Delta. And now I'm caught between a rock and a hard place. And she goes, "Oh, what are you doing here?" And I said, "Oh, what are you doing here? Seattle to Virginia, Tommy."
Oh my
So now I'm like, how do I get out of this? I mean, because pretty soon walking in the door is going to be the ex. So she goes, "Hey, we just got grounded. I'm going to be staying here another night. Want to go to dinner tonight?" Now, what do you say, Tommy? What do you say?
Yeah.
I said, "Let me get back with you." Let me get back with you.
Yeah, I gotta
And
get back.
I could not have checked in faster. I could not have gotten to the elevator faster. And in hindsight, Tommy should have taken her up on the offer for dinner because the other part was a disaster, an absolute disaster. And it was awful. It was
Oh,
awful, Tommy. The
that's
other, the other Seattle story was really funny. So back in the day, Road Dogg and X Pac, we had let's call it an agreement that if they were going to do any promos for me, I had to give them an hour's notice to, let's just say, sober up. Okay. And back in the day, there was this famous pilot who had saved a bunch of people, and they brought him to the show to show him around and kind of highlight him. So Linda McMahon is showing him around. And I'm walking by, and here comes Road Dogg and X Pac. And she goes, "Hey, coach, go grab Road Dogg and X Pac. I want them to meet this pilot." It's 2:00 in the afternoon, Tommy. 3:00 in the afternoon. So without even thinking, I go, "Hey, dog, X Pac, come on over." Their eyes were this big, Tommy. They were lit up. This is back in the day before all that stuff was legal, right? So they come over, their eyes are this big, and Linda's talking to them. Tommy, they were looking through her. They could not even see her. They could not even see her. And they're doing the whole and so then she walks away. Wait for it, wait for it, wait for it. "Coach, what the is wrong with you?" They were so hot. We had a deal. Deal is off. And I said, "Guys, I had no idea. I had no idea." For like the next 3 or 4 months, they wouldn't even talk to me. They wouldn't
mm,
talk to me, Tommy. They were so pissed because they thought they were going to get in trouble. They thought that she noticed. And I said, "Guys, anyone, a 2-year-old would have noticed that you guys were high as a kite." As a kite, Tommy. And oh my God, was it funny. It was so
oh,
funny. But those are the types of things that I would have to deal with just to get the guys to come in our room and do
mm,
stuff for you.
yep.
It was all
That's
for
right.
you.
That's
It
right.
was all for you.
That's right.
Oh God, Seattle.
A and what do you
So
say to Linda, right? You don't say, "Oh, I can't get him. Don't worry." Yeah, no, you don't
you
say
say,
that to
Linda,
Linda
yeah,
McMahon.
yeah. You say, "I'll go get him." That's
Yeah.
what you say. I love Linda McMahon. I
Yeah, oh,
absolutely
she's
loved
great.
her.
Yep.
Linda and Shane
Phenomenal.
loved him. Vince
Love
and Stephanie. I mean, I'm indifferent to Stephanie. I never disliked her, never liked her a lot. Just wasn't around her a ton. Probably more than I would like to be, but it was indifferent. It was
yeah,
indifferent. See a lot in
definitely
the chat.
different.
Oh my gosh, geez. Yeah. We literally should just have a story time show because I got 1,000 of them. And the last Seattle story, there's 3 of them. That's where we were flying. When about 20 minutes from when we were touching down in Seattle, Tommy's wife, Michelle, was sitting next to me in first class. This is a true story on my kids. I'm
Yes.
dozing off. I wake up and Tommy's wife is straddling me in first class in row 1C. So I got all of this, Tommy, in my face. And I'm like, "Where the hell are you going? And why are you straddling me right now?" She goes, "The phone's not working." I go, "The phone?" She had taken out 10 credit cards. And this is back in the day. A lot of people that are watching right now are too young. You had phones on the planes that you would use a credit
Yeah.
card. Tommy, she used every credit card. It wasn't working.
Yeah, that's her.
That's her. And everybody watching at home, I kid you not, she got the flight attendant to open the cockpit door and ask the pilot if he could get the phones to working. And I said to her, we're landing in 20 minutes. She goes, I don't care. I got to talk to Tommy. I miss my boo. She missed her boo.
Oh, my God. That's
Tommy, I have had PTSD from that moment for the last 23 years.
I'm sorry, dude. I'm sorry.
Mean, you're one of my best friends in the whole world, and I've had to live with the moment of your wife straddling me on a plane, Tommy.
She doesn't even straddle me. You just
oh my God, that was like a delayed reaction. I'm reading over here, and I just realized what you said. Oh my God. Marcus says Coach has to have the best stories being so close with Vince.
Oh, yes,
and being
he
in
does.
WWE such a period of
He
the
does,
boom.
folks. He does.
The Attitude Era was the best. And I don't care what anybody says. I mean, they could talk till they're blue in the face. The Attitude Era, I was there 99 to 08. Tommy was there for 32 years.
96 to 02, I was on the road, right in the middle of the Attitude Era.
Every night was a party.
Every night was
well, it was
crazy.
for me, not for you, Tommy.
Yeah.
Not for you.
Sometimes.
Tommy, you just want to go back to your hotel.
Yeah, sometimes, yeah.
And call home. Yeah.
Yeah. Is the dog did poo-poo? No, that's the other guy. That's the other guy.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Classic Michael Cole. Did the dog go poo-poo?
Oh, my God.
All
What
right,
are we
that's going to
doing?
do it. We can do no more. Big Tommy C is truly a made man. He is. Coach, what was the best Vince McMahon story that you have? Micah, I will tell that story next Monday night. All right? You're going to have to wait for it. I know about the prank he did on you with everyone outside. I will tell every detail. Maybe I'll tell that one. Maybe I'll tell a different one.
I was there
next
for
to
that.
Vince for 3 years. You were, that's a
I
good
was
one.
there. Yes,
People haven't heard the prank story. They call it the greatest prank of all time in the history of the company on me.
Yes.
So we'll talk about that next Monday. We've got to get going. We've got to do the War Room. Do not forget, we also drop a new episode on one topic, about 10 or 15 minutes every Friday around 11 a.m. And oh, by the way, in the next couple of weeks, how about this, Tommy? We're going to have a special episode. I went and hung out with Gabriel Iglesias, Fluffy, and hung out at his car museum. He took me around for 3 hours. We're going to have a full 2 episodes, maybe 3, on that tour that I got. That's going to be by the end of the month, I think. And finally, we are going to be launching, Tommy, on all of Stadium's platforms, Amazon, DirecTV, YouTube TV, every Wednesday night starting the first of the year, and then repeated on Saturday morning. We got a lot of work to do, Tommy.
I'm ready.
We got a lot of work to do.
Wow.
All right, Robbie, I see you. Great show. See you in the AM. You're damn right we will. If you guys watch DTL, we're on tomorrow at 10 a.m. Tommy's a part of the show on Rant Wednesday at 10 a.m. We never stop grinding. All right, Tommy, that's going to do it. For Big Tommy C, intern Dan, producer Man, I'm the coach. We'll see you next Monday night, 10 p.m. Eastern Live. Get that merch. Go to mybookie.ag. This has been The Last Word.